Okay, so this is our second note session we have. It's on cells, and as we talked about before, cells are the basic unit of all living things. In order for something to be considered a living thing, it has to have cells. And you remember also from before, two types of cells: prokaryotic, bacteria, simple cell; eukaryotic are multicellular, more advanced, have many organelles, make up most of the living things: animals, plants, fungi, protista. Cells, though, also are building blocks. So they're used to make everything else. So for example, you have cells. Okay. And cells then work together. You have a group of cells working together. You get tissue. Okay. Examples of tissue are muscle, nervous, connective, skin or epithelial, and there's one other one I'm forgetting, but I won't worry about it right now. So the tissue, and then tissue, a group of different tissue working together, you get an organ. Okay, example of an organ is a heart. Okay, a heart has muscle tissue, it has connective, it has nervous, connective. It has many different types of tissue that work together to make that organ. You then take organ systems such as the respiratory, the circulatory. You take those, put them together, you get an organism. Okay, organism. So, but the organism really is made up of all these little building blocks put together, these little Lego type things, and they make up that organism. But really, it all goes back to cells. So then, there's two types of cells. Okay, they are prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic are single-celled. They have no nucleus and few organelles. Since they don't have a nucleus, the DNA is just free floating in the cytoplasm. Okay, and very few organelles. They have ribosomes, a few others, but really cell membrane, ribosomes, DNA. That's all they are. Single-celled, very small, and also these are smaller. Smaller than compared to the eukaryotic. Bacteria. So bacteria, there's two types of bacteria. There are eubacteria and archaebacteria. Eubacteria, these normal bacteria that make you sick, you know, make bread rise, all that kind of stuff. Don't really make bread on them, but they're normal kind of bacteria. And then archaebacteria are these weird bacteria. They live in extreme conditions where there's no oxygen. They're called extremophiles often, and they just live in really difficult environments. But they're still bacteria. They used to classify them together, but now they've called them Monera. It was their kingdom. They used to have 5 kingdoms. Now we have 6. They've taken Monera. They separated into eubacteria and archaebacteria. So then we have eukaryotic. These are multicellular, which means more than one. Really, they have many cells, and they have a nucleus. The nucleus holds the DNA. It's kind of like a wallet. It holds the DNA. There's like a little safe. It's protecting the DNA, keeping it from harm. Because DNA is really important. It tells you how to make everything in the cell, how to make the organism, and so this has a little protection for it. And also many organelles. They have all the organelles we can think of. So mitochondria, chloroplast, lysosome, Golgi, complex or apparatus, whatever you want to call it, smooth and rough endoplasmic reticulum, vacuole, all kinds of stuff. They have most of them. Okay, and then you see animals, plants, fungus, or fungi, whatever you want to call them, and protista. Most organisms we think of are eukaryotic. Okay, and multicellular. So keep all those in mind. And Those are your two types of cells. But what's also important to remember is eukaryotic also have two types of cells. They are animal and plants. Plant cells. Very similar. Most of them have the same organelles, but plants have chloroplasts because they can take sunlight and turn it into energy. Animals can't do that, so they don't need chloroplast, so they don't have them. So just keep that in mind, because often it can confuse you because you think cells two types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. But then eukaryotic also have two types, animal and plant. Just keep it in mind. Help you from getting confused in the future. Okay, so we clear that off. Okay, we'll move this over. Oh, 1 second. So then we go down. Okay, and then we have basic parts of a cell. There's 3 of them. We have cell membrane, cytoplasm, and organelles. Whether you're a prokaryotic cell or eukaryotic cell, you have all 3. The cell membrane is just the outer boundary of the cell. The cytoplasm, the fluid that holds all the organelles in the DNA. And the organelles are those little things that help the cell stay alive. Okay. And the important word here to describe organelles are little organs. Okay. These are prokaryotic and eukaryotic. But then, I want to talk to you about organs. So then we have organs. And if we're looking for examples of organs, we can say lungs. We can say heart. Okay, we could say let's say the kidney. Okay, the lungs, what do? They bring in O2. They take out CO2. Okay, they give it really to the heart. The heart then has blood, pumps it, and in that blood it pumps O2 to the rest of the cells through veins and arteries, and then it takes it to the cells, the O2, but then the O2's in and then back out to the lungs, CO2. So the lungs bring in O2, breathe it in, exchange it with the blood. The blood then takes CO2, takes it to the cells. But at the same time, there's blood coming that has a bunch of CO2 in it, and it exchanges it with the lungs. The lungs bring in O2, and then when you exhale, it gets rid of the CO2 from the blood. So they all kind of work together. But the whole point is O2 and CO2. They're just taking O2 to the cell and taking CO2 from the cell to help it accomplish metabolism and other functions. Okay, the kidney really cleans. It's a cleaner. Cleans out blood and some other things. But it all works together. All these organs work together to keep whatever it is, a moose, a deer, a caribou, a muskox, whatever it is, alive. It keeps it a living thing. Okay. Then we have organelles, little organs that do the same thing. So you have a mitochondria, we have chloroplast, we have a lysosome. Okay, if you want to write this, and I'm not going to write it, but mitochondria produces energy. Chloroplast takes sunlight, produces food, which then can make energy. Lysosomes, like the garbage man, it cleans up the cell. But all these things do functions. They work together to keep the cell alive. All the functions that it needs to do to remain a living thing. So that's why they're called little organs. So hopefully you've been filling in your guided note sheet. Make sure you're always doing that. If you have any questions on the notes, if you have any questions on the assignments, make sure you call me either through email, not like call me I guess, but send me an email. You could call me at the school I guess if you needed to. But you can send me a Skype like right away. If you just send me a little message on the Skype, I'll see it right away. Even during class, if I have time, I can answer that. And but email's good. You can send me a note on the class forum. And just keep in mind, always communicate. It's going to help you in the course. Make sure you're filling though in your notes, and make sure you're taking notes in a notebook, because at the end of the semester, I'm going to be collecting them, and it will be equal to a test grade.